First is item 3.6. This is a introduction of ordinance amending an ordinance that regulated targeted residential picketing. Miss Julie Waltz. Miss Waltz, there she is. You asked for 6 minutes, and then I guess you're the only speaker.
Good morning. Hello down there. You guys awake down there? Okay.
How can we not be awake? You walk over there with that beautiful red hair, you know, and
oh, thank you.
Nice smile on your face.
Thank you. Okay,
you should see it on our new screens. It's very, very pretty.
Oh, thank you. As you know, I've been a very vocal person in Ordinance 884, and I just would like to reiterate a few things. I did agree to the 3 feet on the property line, but I had no other choice. But the language of this is very ridiculous and very childish. In so many cases, protesters would need a surveyor to help them figure out where the property lines are. This ordinance is a waste of taxpayer money. In fact, the sheriffs have stated in simple English that we already have existing penal codes on the books. And the existing penal codes would be, the violations from the penal codes would be more appropriate to be used. So I'm asking you one more time to repeal this ramrodding of an ordinance. We don't need this ordinance, period. Please do reconsider it. I mean, you guys took an oath of office to do the right thing. It's not too late. Can I get anybody to repeal it or get their staff to work on this a little more and get back to we the people? We do have a right to protest, and we shouldn't, like I said, there's already penal codes on the books. Sheriff Sniff said it. He said in his report, there haven't been any occurrences of anybody demonstrating and being violent. It's our constitutional right to protest. And with what they're going to be releasing from the prisons shortly, it's going to be ludicrous. Anybody going to answer me or just...
Supervisor Tavolini.
I'll answer you, Julie. It's probably not going to be what you want to hear, but I recall back many years ago when it took me 3 tries, maybe 4, to put together an ordinance to deal with roosters. Crowing roosters and the ability for people to have as many as 1,000 roosters on a half acre or more or less. You know, over a period of 3 years, I finally got the board to understand it, and we went through a number of iterations. And I think what Supervisor Stone has done here is made an effort to retract a bit of what his intentions were in the beginning, and I think over time, I think he's begun to see he's made a good faith effort to retract it. Maybe not everything that you'd like to see, but I think he's attempting to, and so I'm going to support his effort at this point. Maybe next year at this time or less, he'll want to repeal it. It's up to him.
Yeah, this is a long amendment in your direction, and it just about ends up. Was it 3 feet now? It's about the length of a long arm that's trying to hit another nose out there. So that's about the right separation. And if the sheriffs can live with it and work it out on a practical basis, which they're very familiar with, and we'll hear back from them too if we have further problems with it. If you're right, if these boundaries are uncertain, there's a lot of conflict created. We want to make it, and I'm sure Supervisor Stone wants to make things enforceable from a practical standpoint as well, and understandable, so that everybody can easily recognize it. 3 feet is a pretty good fair margin though. So let's see how this works, Ms. Waltz, and then we can make whatever further adjustments might be necessary.
Okay, so then that means we still have a chance to repeal Ordinance 884?
Well, this is largely quite a rollback in.
Well, yes, it is quite a rollback, but I'd like to see it repealed.
Understand where you're coming from. But such ordinance, such as this one, as our county council said repeatedly, have been upheld in the courts. So they're not an abrogation of freedom. But let's see how these things work in practice, and we can ask for a report back from our sheriff and other agencies after they have some experience with it. County council?
And how long will it be before we ask for a report back once it's dropped down to the... Spending another $200 to drop it down is, taxpayer dollars. So when can I come back, in other words, to ask for a written report from the Sheriff's Department?
If I might just respond to the issue regarding the distance requirements. There's a County of San Diego ordinance that was upheld, its constitutionality upheld, and it wasn't considered vague or ambiguous, and it dealt with a restriction of 300 feet from a residential dwelling. Both the County of San Diego has had that ordinance in place for some time. It's sustained constitutional challenges, and the City of Riverside has a similar ordinance. There are other ordinances in various jurisdictions that go from the property line out.
As a question of when, we're introducing the ordinance, you have to wait 30 days before we adopt it, then you have to wait another 60 days for it to go into effect. So we're talking about 3 or 4 months before this ordinance even, goes into effect. So let's add another year onto that, have a report back in a year for sure. But if in the interim, the Sheriff's Department sees a problem with this ordinance, they get a demonstration out there where they're running into problems, or demonstrators or property owners have problems with it, we'll ask for a report back on the first demonstration, first instance where they see any problems with this. Otherwise, let's wait for a year and get a more comprehensive report.
Wouldn't the occupants of the home have to call the sheriffs if they feel they're being disturbed?
Yeah, you can always call 911 if you feel, the law's being violated.
Then, in other words, somebody would have to challenge it in a court of law to see how effective it really is.
No, if I might just add one other item, is right now we have an existing ordinance that sets a greater distance. Until this becomes effective, that ordinance continues.
I see, okay.
And in terms of determining its effectiveness, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be challenged in court. The Sheriff's Department, if they're going to be enforcing it, they could probably give some input regarding the effectiveness of this ordinance.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ms. Waltz. Thanks for following this. You helped make the process a lot better.
I'm going to stay on it. Believe me, I'm not going away.
I know you will.
It's my right. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. There are no other speakers on item 3.6. Supervisor Stone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll move the introduction of Ordinance 884.1, an ordinance of the County of Riverside amending Ordinance 884 regulating targeted residential picketing.
And asking further report, and I'll second your motion, in a year after the effective date of this ordinance, or sooner if their Sheriff's Department perceives a problem, Sheriff or legal.
Can we make the caveat that the Sheriff will come forward with a report if there's anything to report to the board that the board should be aware of? It might require some amending.
I'll second your motion. Please vote. And that's carried 4 ayes.